This is the Horse Radio Network. This is episode 203 of Horse Tip Daily, a different horse tip, a different equine topic, a different equestrian expert every day. Horse Tip Daily brings the world of equine knowledge to you one day at a time. This tip is sponsored by Equestrian Collections for the whole universe of equestrian shopping at your fingertips at a price you can afford. Enjoy today's tip. This is Glenn the Geek from Lexington, Kentucky, and welcome back to Horse Tip Daily. We want to welcome Dr. Jenn back to the show. Dr. Jenn focuses on the rider and the mental health of the rider and the horse, and she challenges me every single time. She uses me as the guinea pig, and as you'll see, it sometimes is comfortable and sometimes uncomfortable, but I love Dr. Jenn. She makes some great points, and she truly does make you think about the thinking side of riding. Dr. Jenn has trained with several Olympic-level event riders throughout her career, and she is now the owner of the Happily Ever After Ranch out in Colorado. You can learn more about Dr. Jenn and find links to her website and her profile at horsetipdaily.com. And we'll be right back with Dr. Jenn after we speak about our friends at Equestrian Collections. Glenn the Geek here. I was involved in equestrian retail for a long time, and I know one of the problems that we always had and always the complaints that we always had was from men saying there's just not enough men's options in clothing and riding boots and gloves and jackets and pretty much anything was always geared, especially in the eventing world, to women's. Well, now you can find a selection. You can find a huge selection of men's items at equestriancollections.com. They have show and casual apparel, riding boots, thermal gear, gloves and jackets. They basically can cover you from head to toe. So if you're a guy out there and have always had that problem where you can't find products you want, check out equestriancollections.com. They have a ton of different brands. They have a ton of different styles. You're going to like what you find at equestriancollections.com. And now you can get $10 off your next order of $120 or more just by using the coupon code Horse Radio. When you check out, just put Horse Radio in the coupon code, all one word, Horse Radio, and you'll get $10 off your next order of $120 or more. So find all of your men's products, all the things you need, guys, at equestriancollections.com. Well, hi, Dr. Jenn. Welcome back to Horse Tip Daily.
Oh, Glenn, you're my favorite.
Well, thank you. That's good to hear. So, at least I'm somebody's favorite, right? Well, you know what? This show's becoming people's favorite, so that's kind of a good thing, too.
Yeah, I hear it's getting really popular, and congratulations to you.
It's not because of me. It's because of experts like you that are on the show. If it was just me, nobody would listen to it. So this way, so I need to thank you for being on the show, and I do want to thank everybody for listening too. We hope that every day we can help people a little bit, learn a little bit more about their horse and how to relate to them in a better manner.
Yes, thank you so much for helping people with that. It's a huge mission, and it's one of my missions and passions, and I'm glad we're doing this together. Well,
I'm just going to sit back and relax and let you go then.
All right.
Well, I can't sit back because I'd fall off my ball, but...
That's good. Well, I wanted to talk about an exercise today to help give you a better understanding of how your energy affects your relationships, starting with your horse. And I call this energy lunging. And so I don't know if you're down with the whole the secret thing. Have you heard about the secret and the law of attraction?
No.
Well, essentially, the whole premise is that in our universe, everything is energy, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's just physics.
Yeah, that's physics. I was just going to say that's physics, yep.
That's physics. And so how you show up in the world, how much energy or the type of energy you bring to any interaction is essentially going to affect your results. And unfortunately, we're often running around not aware of the energy we're bringing to our situation. And then we get frustrated when we don't get the results we want. And there is no clear indicator of this than when we're working with our horses, because our horses are super sensitive to our energy. I know somebody who has a habit of just picking horses that seem crazy. Mm-hmm. That's the secret. The horses aren't crazy.
My wife is the one that... She picks them when they're crazy, but she tends to have a good way with them.
Oh, that's good. Well, the opposite can happen, where this woman is making the horses crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's not the case here.
Yeah, that's not your wife. That's not your wife.
She likes the crazy ones to begin with, though, I will say that.
So she must bring a calming and a centering energy to them.
Yes.
Whereas this other woman and she's not even aware of it. She brings an agitated, crazy-making energy to them.
And we all know those people, Dr. Jenn.
They're everywhere,
Yep.
and they don't even mean to be doing it, but they're causing harm to their horse. And so you and I and everybody else, we're doing this too in different ways across our life, perhaps at work, with our family, with our kids, or maybe at the barn if we're having a bad day. And so this is an exercise that's going to increase your awareness of the quality of the energy you're bringing to any interaction. Because once you're aware of it, then you then have the power to shift your energy to adapt to any circumstance and create better outcomes. Wouldn't that be awesome to have?
Yes, it would.
This is a fabulously fun and effective exercise where you can start to play with your horse and get a sense of what energy am I putting out today.
Okay.
So again, I call it energy lunging, and interacting with them gives you immediate feedback about the effects of your energy on another being. And a benefit of this exercise is that over time, the two of you can become so attuned to each other's energy that just very subtle, tiny cues will be all it takes to create a change in your horse. And as riders, isn't that sort of what we're always after, the invisible aid? Well, this is an energetic aid, and it doesn't get any more invisible than that when you're on a horse. So you set up the same way you would for regular lunging with a lunge line and a halter, and later you can do this free in a round pen. When you can do it free, your skills are super high. And the ultimate goal is the same as regular lunging. It's just to get your horse to move around the circle and change his gaits. But instead of the usual lunge whip cues and the voice aids and things, you're going to do it based only on projecting your own energy. So let me just show you what that's going to look like.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah? In the beginning, you're going to use two types of cues, right? You're going to have this. If everything is energy, and energy can come from any place in your body, but we're going to start with imagining there's a ball of energy in your stomach, and you're going to send that ball of energy in your stomach to your horse's stomach. That's the seat of your power, and that's your horse's seat of power. And so you want to send it from stomach to stomach. And to get your horse to make an upward transition, you just imagine that you're rolling that ball of energy with more and more intensity, depending on what you want your horse to do. If you want him to go from a walk to a trot or a trot to a canter, it's like you're rolling that ball faster and faster. And you're going to send that rolling ball from your space to his space. And ultimately, that's going to be the only cue you need to get your horse to move up. Now, can you imagine what it would be like to just sit on your horse and imagine rolling a ball and have him change, well, I guess you don't ride, but you could do the same thing.
You could do the same thing with driving, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a very subtle cue. Now, in the beginning, when you do this, your horse isn't going to know what the heck you're asking him.
Right, exactly.
Actually, he knows what it means because it's natural, because it's energy, but he's not used to it, so he'll be confused. And so you're going to go ahead and it's okay to pair a second aid or an aid he already knows until he gets what it means when you roll the ball of energy. But your goal should be to get to the ball of energy alone as soon as possible. But in the meantime, while you're trying to get him to know what this is, your second aid is going to be your legs, right? So you want to apply the same energy in your legs that you're asking from him. So if you want him to go from a halt to a walk, you would just start walking. And if he doesn't walk, then you walk stronger, with your legs up and down more, with a little more force into the ground. And if you want him to trot, you start trotting with your legs. And if you want him to trot faster, you trot with more intensity. So you're essentially changing the energy in your body to get him to change the energy in his body.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to, again, in the very beginning, you can use the whip, you can use your voice, you can do anything else that you need to. But I guarantee that if you play with it just a few minutes a day, before long, you'll get to the point where you guys can dance together by just subtly shifting your energy. And I might mention that this isn't really a form of horse training. I'm not a horse trainer, but that it can have some really awesome benefits to your riding. When I first started to play with this, my horse Charm, it was in the winter and I wasn't riding, but I was playing with this lunging. And like I said, when I got back in the saddle, I was shocked at how this exercise transferred. All I had to do was take a big, deep breath, and she would come back to the walk. Like, that's how you bring them back to make a downward transition. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
You just send all of your energy down. You take a big, deep breath, you take this huge shrug, and you just shrug down all of the energy. And so now, when I'm riding, all I have to do is take a big, deep breath, and my horse stops.
Okay.
that's effective, You don't have to tug on the reins. You just breathe. I trained my 3-year-old this way. I never have to tug on the reins. All I have to do is breathe out, and she, a big deep breath, and she stops. She doesn't stop like, halt, stop, but she comes down. She makes a downward transition. Huh. So the idea here is...
That's okay, unless you forget one day when you're cantering and you breathe out and all of a sudden you're over the head. But,
yeah. Well, it's funny. Sometimes when I'm just trying, if I get myself, I'm at a show and I'm nervous and I'm just trying to breathe, breathe out. And it kind of wigs them out because they're like, what is she doing up there just breathing so heavy on me? It's okay, I'm relaxing. But anyway, this. Number one, it's just going to really increase your communication with your horse. But number two, it's just going to help you start to know what energy you're bringing to any situation. So I would really encourage you to start playing. After you've learned it with your horse, start playing with it out in the real world.
And every tip that you give actually is about increasing the communication with your horse, whether it be, mostly nonverbal. Yeah. But that, and also every tip, there's a trend through every tip that you give. And it's interesting because I'll get into that some other time. But every tip that you give is about you relaxing and going into a good place before you deal with your horse and not bringing your crap with you.
Yes. And every tip that I give, although we haven't always had time, is designed to transfer that same idea into the real world. And so just like with this, if you get into that space, how is it going to shift things at work or with your kids? So once you get good at it with your horse, take it out into your real world and ask, when things go well at work, what kind of energy did I come with? When things go poorly in that meeting, ask, what energy did I bring to that situation? And start to play with your energy to improve the situations, Do I need to be stronger and more assertive in my energy? Do I need to be more gentle and more playful? People don't think about that, but it's all about energy. And so, what energy do you need to bring to you when you talk with your wife?
Right.
Or your boss, or the harried clerk at the Department of Motor Vehicles. What happens when you bring your irritated energy to him when he's already crazed?
Well, and you see it all the time. I have more fun with waiters and waitresses at restaurants, and I get the best service ever.
Yes, because of the energy you're bringing, right? If they're already running around like mad, and you bring to that energy your own, oh my God, why are you taking so long? Why isn't my food here? What happens?
But yeah, you get less service, not more.
Not more. What if you just breathe out, you shrug, and you put a huge smile on, and you send them energy of calm relaxation? Yeah, you are like a breath of fresh air to them.
That's right.
Suddenly, all is right in the world. So I just really encourage people to start paying attention to what energy they're bringing to the situation, whether it's with their horse or whether it's any place else in their life. You can make huge changes in the outcomes of things when you are aware of what energy you're bringing.
Well, that's great. Well, Dr. Jenn, where can people find out more about you?
They can check out our website at happilyeverafterranch.com. We'll be happy to have them visit us and check out our videos. And I write a really interesting blog about the healing that goes on at the ranch so that people can get a real good sense of how they can use horses to heal their lives and make changes across the board.
All right, great. Well, we appreciate you being on, and thank you so much for joining me again today.
It's always a pleasure, Glenn. You have a great afternoon.
All right. Have a good one, Dr. Jenn. Well, it's always fun to have Dr. Jenn on the show, and you can go back and listen to all Dr. Jenn's tips at horsetipdaily.com. Just search for her on the left side of the page there under the experts, and you can find all of her tips in a row if you'd like to go back and listen to them all in a row. Can't believe the number of emails I get of people saying they go back to episode 1. Well, now if you go back to episode 1, you got 203 to listen to. So good luck with that. Well, we would love your feedback. I'd love to hear from you either on Facebook, on our Facebook page over there. Just search for Horse Tip Daily. Or you can send me an email or drop me a voicemail, whatever. The contact links are all on the website. And don't forget to check out all the other great shows on the network at horseradionetwork.com. And I'll be back again tomorrow with another new expert and a different horse tip. Until then, stay safe, everyone.